so we have a decently working quiz app. I have actually moved over my questions into this format, okay? And I'm sure you know how to add more questions after this. What I'm going to do now is I am going to show you a different way of using this if, else if, and else statement. Okay, it's something called a switch case. So let me just show you that real quick. Okay, it will make your code look a little bit neater, especially when you add more questions. So what this is a switch case. You can say switch question number, open curly brace, and then just say case 0, colon, and then you can paste in your question. Okay, so I'm going to paste in this question over here. Let's ignore the errors for now. All right, there'll be a bunch of errors until I'm done typing. So this is case 0, case 1, colon, and down here, I'm going to grab my second question over here. Okay, so question here, copy, and I'm going to paste it for case 1. And finally, we need something called default. Default means what to show if question number is not any of the above. All right, so for this, let me scroll down, and I just want to say the quiz is over. Cut this, and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, so now I can delete this if statement. So let's get rid of this if statement over here. And it's slightly neater, I feel, because there's a bit less to think about. It's just switch question number, case 0, well, this question, case 1, this question, default, this question, okay? It's always important to test if your code still works. Make a small change, test if it still works. Because if you make all the changes and something broke, well, you need to keep checking which of the last 10 changes you made caused the issue. If you changed one thing and something broke, well, it's because of that one thing you just did. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to test this out. All right, this is good. And this is good. Okay, my answers are not good, but that's another matter entirely. Okay, so let me just show you how I would add another question over here. And I want to show you something as well, which is how I would format my code over here. So I'm going to go hide the preview. Okay, this is a little bit hard to read, so I can show you something, right? Question, okay, and I'm still going to use autocomplete, but I'm going to set it up so that it's a bit easier to read. Okay, so I'm going to say, I'm going to go to the beginning of title and press return. Okay, and I'm going to go over to my string over here, and I'm going to type in another Swift related question. Who makes the Swift car? Okay, and for each of these, I'm going to press enter so that it's on its own line. Okay, so down here, let's say Nissan. Okay, enter over here. This is, let's put BMW. And option 3, I'm going to put Suzuki, right? It's actually, there's a car called the Suzuki Swift. Okay, I might have researched a bit too much into what else is Swift. Okay, so Apple. All right, so down here, I'm going to put this in here, and correct option in this case is 3. Some people even like to put the closing bracket on a new line. This is perfectly valid code, and it makes your question a lot easier to read. It takes some more lines, sure, but it does make it so much clearer, and I like it a lot, so I'm just going to actually do this for all my other quiz questions. Okay, so this is something that you can consider. Your code being neat and easy to read has a lot of quality of life improvements for you, especially when you want to go and change something inside one of these options. It makes it a lot easier to read and understand your code. Okay, so I'm just going to click over here. Got to be careful about that. You want to make sure you bring it down the entire option 3. Okay, and down here and down here. Okay, so much easier to read, and it's just so much more pleasant to work with. Okay, this makes absolutely no difference for your user, but as a developer, someone who's writing this code, it makes your life so much better. Okay, so that's a couple of things. Switch case and formatting your function call so that it's a bit easier to read. Okay, what else can we do? Well, tell you what, let's add a few more quality of life improvements. Right now, you might have noticed that if you tap on one of these, the animation's kind of off. You know, it just doesn't feel very good. You might recall what we did in the flag raising app, where we use something called with animation. Okay, so let's try that. For with animation, you need to make the change when the variable is being changed, and that's within one of the buttons. Okay, it's right here. Okay, so I'm going to go here and say with animation, open curly brace. I'm going to use this method where I delete the closing curly brace and put my cursor on the next line and put closing curly brace. Okay, so now it says with animation, and you do all these things. Let's try it out. So I'm going to tap on any of these. Oh, isn't that nice, right? There's a very subtle little animation. Instead of everything just shifting around randomly, it will animate the things showing up. Okay, next question doesn't have animation right now, so let's go add that. Okay, so next question is down here. The button for next question is down here. And we can try this where we do a with animation on all of these. Okay, so let's try that. Okay, so this looks nice. Okay, so it fades out into the next question, which is not bad as well. Okay, so the nice thing about with animation is that it will figure out the best animation for you, and it usually makes it look pretty good.